Alright guys, before we jump into the video, I wanted to talk to you about Fade Me, the merch we have here on the channel. I'm rocking the Gambler OG hat. This is one of the first Gambler collection pieces that we launched. It's now been one of our best sellers. And we just launched the Gambler Fall 2024 drop, which has a super comfy hoodie. I think it's one of, if not the best quality product that we have ever launched. We have the rope hats. Those are super popular and they're now in the Fade Me store. We have a premium crew neck, and then we also have a new product that we've never launched, a windbreaker. That's just the newest Gambler collection. We have tons of products over on the store. FadeMe.store, guys. Use code Monday. You're gonna save 10% off the entire store. No minimums, no restrictions. 10% off. All right, YouTube, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Week number 7, we got Monday Night Football. Actually, 2 Monday Night Football games this week. But in today's video, we're diving into the Bucks and Ravens game. In this video, I'm going to give you my lean on the side. I'll give you my lean on the total. I have a few player prop spots that I like as well. But as always, guys, if you do want to fade me, keep an eye on the pinned comment of this video. All of my final plays, so that I'm actually rolling with myself, those plays will be listed in the pinned comment for free. Make sure you're hitting that like button and subscribing to the channel if you are new, and also drop your plays down in the comments. I say it all the time. There's a lot of people in the comments that are a hell of a lot smarter than me, so go help some people out and give your best plays in the comments. But let's go ahead and dive into this one. Like I said, Bucks Ravens week number 7. Right now, Bucks 3.5-point dogs. The total is at 49.5 at the time of recording. Tampa Bay coming into this one 4-2, both straight up and against the spread. Baltimore 4-2 straight up, 3-2-1 against the spread. Tampa Bay coming in after an amazing game offensively from them. 51 points against the Saints, a decent defense, Saints, right? Baltimore, not too shabby themselves against Washington, not the best of defenses, but they still put up 30 and win 30-23. So both teams kind of coming off of a big win. I will say Baltimore, 4 straight wins. Dallas, Buffalo, Cincinnati, Washington, not the easiest of schedules. So maybe that's something to consider. But let's go ahead and dive into this one. Before we do that, I do kind of want to just talk about where these teams rank overall from a DVOA perspective. So if we look at this, we can flash it over to our dashboard, which we custom built this one. This is free for the month of October. There'll be a link in the pinned comment. Every single game we have broken out from defense and offense, this season, home and away. Last 3 games, we have player prop information, depth chart, we have DVOA rankings, so all that good stuff, but for every single game, like I mentioned. But we're looking at this one, right? Baltimore, 3rd in terms of total DVOA, number 1 by far offensive team, both in the pass and the run, and obviously overall. Defensively, they're at 13th. The pass game may be a little weak there at 18. Run is 4th. If you guys don't know what DVOA metrics are, it's essentially rankings taking into account almost every play of the football game, and the more the season goes on and the data we have, these are more and more accurate. Tampa Bay, a top 10 team in terms of total DVOA, 10th in offense, 9th in pass, 10th in rush, 11th defensively, 9th in pass, and 11th in rush defensively there. So we do have 2 good defenses, 2 good offenses duking out this game. Let's dive into a couple things that I think are important to note. We'll start with the injuries. Not exactly all that much to be concerned with on the Baltimore side of things. I don't think there's anything really worth noting. On the Tampa Bay side, 3 things. Rachaad White, questionable. Mike Evans, questionable. And then Jamel Dean on the side of the defense, he is questionable as well. So are those game changers? Yes, for the Bucks, I'd say Evans and even Dean, right? Baltimore, we shouldn't have to monitor it too much as we head into this game, but wanted to make sure that we at least kind of threw out the flags there for some of those, especially Mike Evans. I think that that's an absolute crucial one to look at. But let's go through both teams here. We'll start with the Bucks and sort of why you might like the Bucks and how they match up against this Ravens team. First and foremost, we have Baker Mayfield, who has been playing really, really well. Like I said, Baltimore's been kind of streaky or struggling against the pass. Their pass defense hasn't been phenomenal, but at the same time, we can cut them a little bit of slack. They've faced, out of the 6 weeks they've played, 4 of the quarterbacks have been Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, and Jaden Daniels, who's turning into a stud in front of our eyes, right? So they've faced some really, really good quarterbacks. That being said, I don't think Baker Mayfield is out of that conversation, right? 4th in completion percentage this year, 2nd in QBR, and he has the most touchdown passes throughout 6 weeks of the year out of any quarterback. So Baker Mayfield is a top quarterback as of right now. From a pressure perspective, Baltimore really doesn't blitz. They don't pressure all that much. They do rank fairly well in terms of sacks, which could be a weakness for the Bucs here. They rank just 20th in terms of sacks allowed, whereas Baltimore 4th most sacks this season. I think it actually tied for 5th, so 4th/5th, depending on how you want to look at it. Baker has navigated the pocket really well, though. He's been phenomenal in terms of turning completions into plays that really should be either a sack for a loss or an incomplete pass. So I want to give him sort of his credit and his flowers. I don't think it's going to be all that much of a problem that Baltimore does get to the quarterback and stuff like that. Baker has been phenomenal. Now, in terms of coverage, Baltimore doesn't really pick man or zone in terms of what they do more so often than not. And Baker's been kind of a tale of two different, tapes here. He's been really, really good against zone. He's been all right against man. I don't want to say he's been terrible, but there are some strong discrepancies. He's been phenomenal against zone and then a good quarterback against man. But that being said, New Orleans, who runs a lot of man, we just saw what Baker did. Now, he did have 3 picks, but he also had 4 touchdowns against them through the air, and the team put up 51 points. So I do think, that pressure, the coverage, nothing is really telling me that Baker should struggle in this game, but there should be an obvious sort of glaring struggle for Tampa Bay. They're going up against the number 4th ranked DVOA rush defense. In Tampa Bay, you look at their numbers the last few weeks, sure, they look okay on the ground. Again, Rachaad White's questionable. They have Irving, they have Tucker, but overall, who are the last 2 teams they played? Atlanta and then New Orleans, neither one of which have a great run defense. So though their running game looks like it's gotten a little bit better, I think it's more due to the fact that their opponents have kind of stunk at that, and Baltimore by no means stinks against the run. No running backs this season. They face some pretty good running backs. No running backs this season have really gone off or done anything crazy against them. Now, Baker does alleviate the pressure there. They don't necessarily need the run. He's been good enough, but I do think it's worth noting that, even last week against New Orleans, like that ground game was amazing. That opens up the pass. It works kind of, a two-way street. I don't think they'll have that success on the ground against the Ravens here. So just worth noting. We'll get into our spread pick in a second, but I think Baker's going to be comfortable. I think Baker has a good day and good game. I don't necessarily know if they get anything going on the ground. Now, from a Ravens perspective, Lamar Jackson versus blitz is going to be important here. The Bucs second highest blitz frequency this season through 6 weeks. They don't necessarily generate the sacks or the QB hits or anything like that. And in fact, Baltimore on the other side of things, number 1 in sacks against, number 1 in QB hits against in terms of fewest allowed. So they should be pretty shored up. But like I said, they do blitz a lot, and Lamar Jackson against the blitz isn't all that great. His completion percentage drops to 61 versus no blitz. It's at like 69.9 something, so almost 70%, right? And we see a 9% drop when he does get blitzed. Is a little bit alarming. They're going to play a ton of zone. Lamar Jackson has kind of struggled against zone compared to man this season, so I don't think Lamar Jackson is set up for the biggest amount of success. But that being said, this Ravens team is far from one-dimensional. Have you ever heard of King freaking Henry, Derrick Henry in the backfield, which I don't necessarily think that he's going to struggle against this Tampa Bay defense. Though they have a decent run defense, King Henry is better than any defense out there. You know what I mean? So I think that the Ravens will be able to move the ball. Maybe it's not all on Lamar Jackson's shoulders, but I think the Derrick Henry factor here could be pretty damn huge. We've seen, Saquon, Gibbs and Montgomery, Brian Robinson, all these guys have pretty decent days against Tampa Bay. Now, in terms of my spread pick, let's get into that. This is a tough one, obviously, right? You have 2 really good offenses, honestly, 2 defenses heading in the right direction. I don't think there's enough here for me to lay the points with the Ravens on the road. That isn't saying I'm, hooting and hollering and loving Tampa Bay plus the 3.5 points, though, because I do see how good that offense is. And even, like I said, that Baltimore defense is moving in the right direction. So I will lean towards Tampa Bay plus the 3.5 points. I may look for an alternate line or maybe some sort of a teaser where we can get that total and spread involved. Spoiler alert, I do like the over in this game. 49.5 is pretty damn high, and I talked about 2 good defenses, but I think if you put both offenses on one side and both defenses on the other side of the scale, there's a ton more offensive potential for both of these teams, even assuming Mike Evans plays, I guess, right? So I do like the over, not necessarily at 49.5, but maybe this is a spot in which, we can take 7 points and get the Bucs up to 10.5. How comfortable would we feel there, right? And then get that total down to 42.5. Maybe that's a way of playing it where we have a little bit more of a cushion. So I do like the Bucs at 3.5 with that field goal in the pocket, especially at home, especially after coming off of a 51-point performance. That said, like, I recognize how good the Ravens are and how much they may be able to control the pace of this game with the run game. So maybe the teaser plus the 10.5, over 42.5 may be the best move, but just straight up wise, I am going to lean towards the Bucks plus the 3.5. And then from a total perspective, I will look for 50 points scored in this game. But let's go ahead and jump into a few player prop spots. I don't think that these are going to be, tough ones. I really do like some of the value that we have from a player prop perspective. But before we do jump into the player props, let's go ahead and talk about a free square over on Sleeper for this game. I know I said Lamar Jackson may not be in the ideal situation, but 0.5 passing yards, his normal line is at 21.5, 20.5, 221.5, 220.5, 221.5. I feel like I just said the same thing over and over again, like it was a tape delay or the record was skipping. But anyways, 0.5 yards over on Sleeper for this game. If you don't know what Sleeper is, it is a player prop app. You pick more or less based on the projection that they have, and then each and every pick you put into your slip, 2 or more go into the slip, right? It changes the payout dynamically. You're also going to get 100% of your first deposit match. Sleeper is one of the best out there. We've been working and using them for 2.5 years now. So tried and true. I love Sleeper. If you sign up today using the link in the pinned comment and in the description, you'll get this free square. You will get that 100% of your first deposit matched, and you will not regret playing over on that app. So go ahead and check it out. They offer a ton of discounts on Saturdays, on Sundays, on Wednesdays. It's Wildcard Wednesday. They do so many damn discounts over there. Go sign up using the link in the pinned comment. But let's go ahead and dive into a few player prop spots that I'm liking in this game. But let me remind you to keep an eye on the pinned comment, guys, where all of my final plays will live. We're going to continue to research this game and dig into this game. There may be some updates or additions on the pinned comment and in the pinned comment, so make sure to keep an eye on that, all right? All right, here we go. First one is going to be Cade Otton. It is heavily juiced. That kind of stinks, but I don't mind his over 3.5 receptions. I'd also take a peek at his over 37.5 receiving yards. You can see here Baltimore allowing the most receiving yards through the air to all positions versus the tight end, the second most. I love to see that. This year, he's hit this in 3 of his last 4 games. Not exactly, all that much involved the first 2 weeks, but look at the production uptick. And let's remember, Mike Evans is questionable in this spot, so that could be a factor. He had 6 targets last week, and he only caught 2 of them. That is not like his normal being, right? Look at this. A couple weeks ago, 86% or 88% catch rate, 67% catch rate, 75% catch rate. I don't think that 33% catch rate is going to be something that continues, so I like his over in receiving yards, but again, receptions, it is kind of juiced. Maybe he's a nice same game parlay piece, but they're also allowing the 4th most receptions allowed to the tight end position. So I like Cade Otton in this spot. Yes, this has been a secondary that has struggled for Baltimore. Yes, they're getting better, but we've seen some tight end success for sure against them. So that's where we're going for player prop number 1. Again, I've said it 10 times. Keep an eye on the pinned comment to see what we finally roll with here. Hey, by the way, guys, the tool you are seeing me actively use for these player props is called Outlier. I have a 7-day free trial link in the pinned comment and in the description. We've been rocking with Outlier for years now. My favorite, by far, player prop research tool. It also has some tools for the spread and the total, also EV and arbitrage and all that, right? But just from a player prop perspective, this thing is well worth it. But you're going to get 7 days free. Even after that, I said it's worth it, right? It's only $19.99 per month if you pay monthly. A lot of tools that have the similar thing are $100 or $200 tools. Outlier is where it's at. Go check it out, at least for 7 days free. Link in the pinned comment. All right, the next one we're looking at here is going to be Baker Mayfield. Now, I'm waiting to see if we get a completions line because I like that idea, but I do like him through the air. I already mentioned that I think he's going to be pretty good. Coming off of a 325-yard performance there. Baltimore, the way they've been beat, or at least quarterbacks have gotten them, especially some of the better ones, Joe Burrow, for example, right, have been passing the ball. They're allowing the 2nd most passing yards per game. So Baker Mayfield, I do like his passing yards at 256. I want to see what his attempts or completion line is at. I think that's truly where I have my eye, but we just don't have, and that's the beauty of Outlier. We could see all of the props and the lines that are out, but to me, this is a spot in which, we could look at this. Now, Baker Mayfield, in terms of insights that Outlier provides, he has exceeded 256 passing yards in 5 of his last 6 games at home. That is pretty damn massive. Obviously, this is all last year, but 2 of the 3 games this year, he's exceeded it. The one he hasn't was against Tampa Bay. The worst Bucs offensive performance and, against Denver, the worst Bucs offensive performance and obviously a really good defense, right? So I do like the spot here, and that's a great little tool by Outlier because we could have this filtered to 2023 last year, but they have little insights where they pick up the trends and stuff like that. And honestly, if you do like this, what's cool about it is it'll show you all of the best lines. Say you like this in DraftKings, right? You could scan it on your phone, you can continue in browser, and it's literally just going to open it up and put it in your bet slip without you having to dig for it. So it's really, really cool, guys. So go ahead and check out Outlier if you are in the market for a new research tool. But overall, I am looking at Cade Otton. I am looking at, obviously, Baker Mayfield. There's some more that we probably could dig and find up. Like, I was considering a Derrick Henry prop, but overall, like, his numbers are so juiced because he's been so good. But just keep an eye on the pinned comment. We might come up with a same-game parlay or something like that. That is worth noting. But as of right now, I do lean Bucks. I lean towards the over, loving the idea of some sort of alternate same-game parlay or teaser in this one. I also like Cade Otton from a receptions perspective as well as yards, and Baker Mayfield's completion or attempts. But guys, that is going to wrap it up for today. Hope you guys do enjoy these videos. If you made it this far in the video, comment 14. You made it 14 minutes into the video, and I appreciate the hell out of it. We'll catch you guys in the next one, all right? Peace out.